Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all well and okay. A little bit of a different one this morning. I don't know about you people out there, but one of the things I've found in life, particularly for people that are socialists, is you often get people coming up to you, and when you get into conversation and the debate goes in the direction of about how socialism works, they all say socialism doesn't work, it hasn't worked anywhere. Well, I've been doing some research on Norway, and it's amazing what I've found, so I thought I'm going to talk about that a little bit on one of my videos. So that's what I'm going to do today. Give people a little bit of help there to, when people throw that question at you, to direct them to the way Norway's run. It's got to be said, it was a poor country at one point. It went independent in 1905, and in 1913 it was the second country to adopt votes for women. So they've set some good records as well, really. I think they had a lot of luck in 1958. The Ekofisk oil field was found, which is a massive oil field. So they've been fortunate in the sense that they've had good oil revenue, but it's not just about the fact that they've got that oil revenue, it's the way it's been managed and how they looked at it. They started drilling the oil mostly at the beginning of the 70s, roughly around the same time as Britain's oil find in the North Sea, really. So they were both sort of roughly getting the oil at around the same time. We had it in the North Sea up in Scotland. But what's interesting is the difference and how the two countries managed that. What Norway did in comparison to us was they kept their oil fields within government state control as a nationalised industry. Well, predominantly, I think something like 80% of it, something along those lines. Whereas Britain, as per privatised it, so most of the oil find that we had was more beneficial for the individual shareholders, etc. And the other thing was they did that, and then the surplus profits that they've made all those years and still are doing now, they used it to fund their pensions for every citizen in Norway. I think I'm right in saying at the moment they're up to $1.35 trillion on their pension fund. That's $250,000 for each resident. That in itself, without you mentioning anything else in Holland, is just absolutely massive. They have a huge public sector. It's the way they adopt everything in life. They have near zero unemployment, low inflation, and as I say, that government pension fund, which is called Global, has massive surplus. It's unbelievable. The UN have voted it the best country to live in the world. 13 years on the trot. That's what the UN have done. And even if Norway lost its oil revenue, it would still be a relatively prosperous country. It's very big on salmon farming, and it has huge fishing waters, and its prime catch is cod, which is the most sought after fish on the planet. So they have a huge trading ability with the rest of the world. It's just, you look at their healthcare system, which is free. They based it on how our NHS was, but they've advanced it. It's the most advanced healthcare system in the world, free at the point of use. Their education system, second to none, probably one of the best education systems in the world. From going into school as an infant, it's free until the last day you come out of university. No costs whatsoever, no student university fees or anything like that. The transport system is such a low cost, it's hardly worth mentioning. And it's predominantly public transport. They just seem to do everything the right way. To me, it's probably the best model in the world, and what other countries should be doing. Another statistic was that it's been voted one of the happiest places in the world to live. Again, this is what the UN have been saying. They have one of the lowest crime rates in the world. There's only something like 400 prisoners. Yes, it is a small country, it's got to be said. They're roughly, in terms of population, about the same size as Scotland. And I suppose, Scotland talking about having another independence referendum, it does say, when people put the argument across that Scotland's too small a country to go independent, well, if you base it on Norway's success, then that's got to give people hope, and it's a good argument, I would say, for the Scottish people. I mean, if I was living in Scotland, I think I'd be voting for independence to get away from this lot, because I'd be quite sick of the fact of living in a country where I never voted Conservative, and the vast majority of people in Scotland don't vote Conservative, but they also end up with a Conservative government. Well, anyway, I digress. I don't get away from what I'm talking about. In Norway, another good statistic, their life expectancy is 81, one of the highest in the world. You can claim your pension after 67 and you will get $1,000 a month straight away, just as a Norwegian resident. They are a multicultural country as well. They have quite a significant amount of people of all different ethnicities and cultures. They have no problems with racism as such. They had an incident several years ago where the guy that went mad with a gun and killed all those Labour students, very, very sad. But you're always going to get odd ones like that. Most predominantly in Norway, it's a successful example of how, to me, the whole world should be. You know, everybody coming together, working together, looking after each other, and the happiness itself. As I said, the Norwegian people are classed as the happiest people on the planet. They have extremely high wages. Yes, there's high taxes, it's got to be said, but that doesn't really matter because of the high wages that they have, and because they don't have to spend lots of money on things like education, transport, and health, etc., because it's all provided for by the state. And it's not only provided for, it's provided for in such an excellent quality, and the services. They've got some of the best doctors and nurses and teachers. Their class sizes are so much smaller than everywhere else, so it's easy, and you can get educated better. Some of the education standards are the best in the world. It's I mean, when I was researching it all, it was almost like this seems too good to be true, but it's all out there. Don't all just take my word for it. Do your own research, but it's worth taking a look at how a country is run, and how a country is run so well. And when you think the way lots of the rest of the world is run, it's quite shameful, really, and you just wonder why nobody else has really, looked at it as the model and then adopted it. I think that's what we should all be doing. I certainly think Britain should be doing it. I know it probably won't, but that's what I think we should do. But it's got to be said, it's predominantly been a Labour, social, sort of democratic government for several years. But like I say, they've adopted, irrespective of who's been in government anyway, they've adopted this socialist practice of, it's a huge public sector, And it's a country that actually looks after its residents. And that's what socialism is. That's what socialism should be. Anyone that doubts it, that's what it should be. And Norway are proving the point that it can be put into practice and it can be achieved, and you get happy people, you get people earning a decent living. They spend their money, they spend a lot of money. And when they spend on all the luxuries and services that they have, it makes the economy tick, it keeps the economy turning, and it's just a continual cycle. Yeah, we all need to look at Norway and think, yeah, that's what we need to be doing. So if there's a message out there for any of our governments, please look towards Norway as the model. I mean, it's got to be said, I mean, people used to say when Jeremy Corbyn was the leader of the Labour Party, that he was hard left, he was an extremist, and well, by all accounts in Norway, he would be pretty much a moderate, apparently. So it just says, oh, perhaps we should have voted and elected Jeremy Corbyn. I voted for him, I personally liked the man. Yes, he had his faults, but I don't think we'd have had this situation that we've got now. Nobody could have been worse than the situation that we've got now. But anyway, again, digressing, get out there and have a look yourselves, have a look, research it. You'll be amazed. What a wonderful country, what a wonderfully well managed country. Maybe it can give us all a little bit of hope that if the rest of the world take notice and follow in their footsteps, which is what I believe what everybody ought to do, we could maybe have a better world in the end. That would be a nice feeling, wouldn't it? Anyway, take care and have a good day. Bye-bye. See you again. Bye.